How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video, and today going to go over the top 5 units that are part of the Fusion category team. And initially I was going to go over the top 5 units of each type with D3, but I kind of thought it would just be better to do the categories instead, just because they are way more relevant. But I hope you guys are having a great day as always, and if you do enjoy today's video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. Of course, if you want to see more lists like this in the future, let me know in the comment section down below and by leaving a like. I will most likely be doing these in order, so of course the next one is going to be the Shadow Dragon Arc team, or just the Shadow Dragon category. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started with the list, and I'm actually going to have an honorable mention for this particular team, and the unit that I'm going to be having in technically the number 6 slot. I'm definitely going to end up putting Pandel here, and one of the reasons why is just simply because she is easily one of the best units on this team, just because of what she provides with the 30% attack increase to all of your allies. She also has a decent link set. She has the Saiyan lineage, Infighter, Battlefield Diva, GT, Fused Fighter, as well as Shattering the Limit. So clearly the main link there for her is Fused Fighter, which every single unit in this team is going to have. And of course she also has Shattering the Limit, and she doesn't necessarily have the greatest attack links, but that doesn't even matter because of what she provides with her passive skill. So that's basically the starter out of the way. Again, people tend to kind of overlook her just simply because she is a bit of a rarer unit to obtain, as she is a Dragon Ball Heroes unit or Dragon Ball Fusions. I can't remember which one. And of course there are other alternatives for this team. For example, you have Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, you have Agility Super Saiyan Gotenks, you have STR Gotenks, you have Barlock. Just so many decent options for this team. Well, you have other top tier options for this team, but when it comes to the best units in this particular category, it does end up going to other units. So we have your boy Physical Super Saiyan Gotenks. His leader skill, he has 3 key to all types. He causes supreme damage and seals super attacks. He gets a 100% attack increase when performing a super attack. His link skills are Fused Fighter, Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior, Prepared for Battle with the Innocent, Fierce Battle, as well as the Saiyan lineage. The categories that he is a part of are the Fusion category, Hybrid Saiyans, as well as the Majin Buu Saga. He has a 12 key multiplier of 135%, and he also has a semi-farmable super attack. So when it comes to the leader skill, it doesn't necessarily stand out that much. Maybe if we were back in the Gogeta meta, and when he was released, he was honestly not that bad of a lead, just because he did give the 2 key to all types. So of course, if you were to run a Super Saiyan Gotenks lead as well as a Super Gogeta thread, it could work pretty well. You get 5 key in total, and of course, if the majority of your the units in your team shared a lot of key links with each other, it wouldn't be so much of an issue to super attack. Of course, he did have the physical Ultimate Gohan that gave the 3 key to all types, and the Turles as well, of course, but he was still decent. Again, there weren't that many leads in the game that were relevant, so the fact that Gotenks gave the 2 key at the time, but these days he is just simply more of a harder hitter than anything, and the ceiling from his super attack mechanic honestly isn't as relevant as it used to be. And one of the main reasons why is because the Dokkan events are progressively getting harder, and they just simply don't allow you to seal them, and it makes sense, right? If you want some sort of spike in difficulty, you're going to have to end up taking away some of these mechanics, which is a bit of a shame, but he is still going to be providing something to the team overall. He has a great link set for the team. He gets a 100% attack increase. His 12 key multiplier isn't exactly the greatest because it's only 135%. But at the very least, he does have a semi-farmable super attack, of course. You have the Super Saiyan Gotenkses, which can awaken from the SR Goten and Trunks. It is a bit of a grind if you want to get him to super attack 10, but I definitely recommend that you do it. And of course, if you want to get him to 100% in a potential system, that also wouldn't be a bad option because, again, he is going to be hitting hard. He has relatively high stats, so that is potentially one of the units that you want to invest in when it comes to the potential system. And of course, if you want to have more powerful units for your Fusion category team. And honestly, now what we have here is a bit of a JP exclusive. We have your boy Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks adult. I don't know why it says teen here, but it's clearly adult Gotenks. But what, you know what? It works, JP. If you want to say that this is teen Gotenks, go ahead and do so. But he does give 2 keys to tech types, as well as a 70% attack and defensive increase, causes supreme damage, and raises his own attack for 6 turns. 12 key multiplier. Oh boy, 12 key multiplier of 130%, but he does get a 100% attack increase when performing a super attack. He has Super Saiyan, Fused Fighter, Over in a Flash, Limit Breaking Form, Budding Warrior, Kamehameha, Fierce Battle, and he is part of the Fusion category, Hybrid Saiyans, as well as Super Saiyan 3. So his leader skill, not that great. If it gave a health and attack boost, it'll be somewhat usable, but because it doesn't give a health increase, it's just not very good. Health and health and attack increase that the leader skills provide is by far the most important thing, just because he can't survive without that much health, clearly. But the other areas of his card kind of balance themselves out. For example, when it comes to the super attack mechanic, mechanic. He raises his own attack for 6 turns, which means that his attack is going to be increasing with every single super attack. He gets a 100% attack increase when performing a super attack, but the thing that lets him down the most by far is the fact that he has a 12 key multiplier of 130%, which is not very good, but I feel like they try to kind of balance this by giving him that super attack mechanic. So he has a low 12 key multiplier for a Transcendent Ultra Rare, but then he has that super attack mechanic that raises his own attack. He gets a massive increase with the passive. He has Super Saiyan, he has Fierce Battle, he has Kamehameha. So he does have pretty good attack links that make up for the fact that his 12 key multiplier is so low. He doesn't necessarily have the greatest attack stat, or the highest attack stat, I should say, because it's just over 80k. If it was around 9-10k, then of course he's going to be hitting much harder. But even with the free potential system buffs, I can see him hitting extremely hard. Of course, he is lucky enough to be a tech type unit and gets the free crit ability. And to be honest, I definitely see him being another unit that you should invest orbs into. And one of the main reasons why is just simply because he is easily going to be one of the best units on this team, just because you're kind of limited on options if you don't have certain units. So if you have dupes just laying around, and if you want to invest in him and just in your fusion category team overall, I would definitely recommend that you focus on him. It definitely is a bit of a shame that Global doesn't have him, because you're missing out on a great unit. So if I was to potentially replace Super Saiyan 3 Adult Gotenks, pardon me, with another fusion unit, it would most likely be Karoli or someone along those lines. Pandel may even move up to the 4th slot. Well, not even that. Super Saiyan Gotenks may move up to the 4th slot, and then you'd put the Pandel in the 5th slot. But when it comes to the Japanese version of the game, which of course is what I cover the majority of the time, this is the current order. And now the next 3, I would imagine, are going to be extremely controversial, but keep in mind, it's just my opinion, and I do have certain reasonings behind the certain positions of these particular units. So in the 3rd slot, I do have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, but that is just within this particular category. Outside of this category, like, let's say I was to put him on a Super Saiyan 3 Bardo category, he would most likely be 2nd or 1st, just because of how hard he can hit. But on this category in particular, I am going to be putting him in the 3rd slot. Of course, he is the lead for physical super types. He gives 3 key to physical super types, as well as a 120% stat increase, and he also gives the 1 key to extreme physicals and a 50% stat increase. Of course, he does have like 4 different super attacks. You can get between 9 and 10 key, the 11 key, as well as the 12 key. The first super attack, which is 9 and 10 key, causes immense damage and greatly lowers defense. His 11 key, which is the one that you want to be aiming for the majority of the time, massively raises his attack for 1 turn and causes immense damage. And the biggest change from the Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is that the 12 keys super attack this time around actually does cause immense damage and raises his attack for 1 turn. Not as much of an increase as the 11 key super attack, but it still is a significant increase. He gets a 120% attack increase. That's just the flat out boost that he is guaranteed to get every single time, plus an additional 60%, and his defense gets lower by 30% for 7 turns. So he is essentially getting a 180% attack increase for 7 turns, and obviously after the 7 turns are up, it's just 120, but that's still a significant amount. But the downside to that is the fact that he kind of lowers his defense, but that's not so much of an issue, especially on a Super Saiyan 3 category team. If you were to take on Super Battle Roy, that could maybe cause a few problems depending on the team that you are running, but for the most part, it's not that much of an issue. And his link skills are Super Saiyan, Fused Fighter, Over in a Flash, Limit Breaking Form, the Innocence, Budding Warrior, as well as Fierce Battle. The categories that he is a part of course, are the Fusion category, Hybrid Saiyans, Majin Buu Saga, as well as the Super Saiyan 3 Saga. And of course, I've already gone over his 12 key multiplier, but overall, easily one of the best units in the game by far, especially on that Super Saiyan 3 category. Even on the Majin Buu Saga, he's just an absolute beast of a unit, just because I believe on both categories he gets around a 170% attack increase, which just adds to how hard he is going to hit. I think he kind of benefits the most on a Majin Buu Saga, just because there aren't too many units on that particular category with the Over in a Flash link, which of course benefits him massively because you want to be aiming for the 11 key super attack the majority of the time. But on that Super Saiyan 3 category and Majin Buu Saga, if I'm not mistaken, he can almost hit for like 2 million with just the 3 potential system buffs. And of course, if you were to give him even more buffs, it's like, oh, his attack stat can reach like 2 or 3 million, depending on the stat increases that he has. And of course, the abilities in the potential system, if he gets a crit, it's just like, okay, this man is clearly going to be hitting pretty damn hard. But again, it's on those categories in particular. If we were to mainly focus on the Fusion category in particular, he is kind of lower than the other two, which I would imagine the majority of you know by now. But again, when it comes to the Fusion fusion category. I do believe that he comes in the third slot. It's a bit of a closer one, but I do think that he belongs here. But I just want to point out that you guys are completely free to disagree with me. And of course, if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. And I would imagine that there is going to be a lot of debate about this particular decision. But it's just such a tough one to make because they both do certain things better than the other, but then it's just like, well, he's better here, but then he's not so good here. And personally, I do believe it's another one of those 1A, 1B situations. So I'm going to say that these are somewhat tied in certain areas. So I'm just going to quickly go over both of them. So of course, we have the In Super Gogeta. Of course, he is the lead for Super In types and Extreme to an extent. He gives the 3 keys to Super In types as well as a 120% stat increase. He gives 1 key to Extreme In types as well as a 50% stat boost. So now this is where they get kind of similar in certain areas, but not really. So causes immense damage, okay, and of course I will be going over Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in a few moments if you haven't guessed it already. He lowers attack and defense, he gets a 120% attack increase, and he is effective against all types. That is the thing that stands out the most. His link skills are Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, Experienced Fighters, as well as Fierce Battle. He has a 12 key multiplier of 150%, and it actually says here that his super attack lowers the target's attack and defense by 20% every time that he super attacks. So if you have 2, that is essentially a 40% attack increase to the opponent that you're taking on. But I would imagine this is going to be a bit more effective on Super Battle Royale just because you're going to be there a bit longer. But the thing that stands out the most in comparison to Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is the fact that he is effective against all types, and the majority of his major attack links are going to be active 100% of the time. Super Gogeta is the 4th hardest unit in the game as of the current list on the Dokkan subreddit, which I will hopefully remember to link in the description down below. I actually did last time, but his average damage output with just the 3 potential system buffs is 1.8 million. In Gogeta has kind of a disadvantage when it comes to the potential system because the free ability, of course, is dodge. If it was additional attack or crit, of course, it would be slightly higher. But still, being number 4 on the hardest hitters list is pretty formidable. Of course, if he was on that revived warrior category team, that would be even higher, but I don't know why he wasn't included because he is a revived warrior. But of course, if we quickly have a look at Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, of course, he is the lead for the fusion category. He gives 3 keys to the fusion category units as well as a 150% stat increase, or he gives a 3 key increase to tech types and a 50% stat increase. He greatly raises his own attack and defense for 1 turn, and he also causes immense damage. So a bit of a difference between the two. They both cause immense damage. They both have a 12 key multiplier of 150%. But the difference is the In Gogeta lowers attack and defense, whereas Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta raises his own attack and defense. So this is where it kind of gets a bit confusing. So you have the In Gogeta that can lower attack, which means that a lot of your units are going to be able to tank the hits. But then you have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that raises his own defense, which will allow him to tank. It won't allow the other units in your team to tank a bit better, but he himself is going to be able to do that. And if we have a look at his passive, he actually decreases the attack and defense of extreme type enemies by 20%. So this is very similar to the In Gogeta's lowering attack mechanic, well, lowering attack and defense super attack mechanic. So they are actually very similar when it comes to that particular mechanic, but the difference is Gogeta or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta only does extreme type enemies, whereas the In Gogeta can do both. So that is one of the major differences. But then you have Super Gogeta that can basically raise his own attack and defense. And of course, if you go for a more balanced approach in a potential system, then he will be able to, you know, basically greatly raise his attack and defense potentially twice. But of course, if we move on to the rest of the passive, he gets a 120% attack increase. He has a high chance of evading enemy super attack and countering with tremendous power. A tremendous power multiplier is 300%. Counterattacks can be critical hits from the hidden potential system. The high chance in the passive is equal to 70%. Now this is where he somewhat got shafted, so let's go over his link set real quick. He has Super Saiyan, he has Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Over in the Flash, GT, Fierce Battle, and Fuse Fighter. And of course, he is part of the Fusion category as well as the Shadow Dragon Saga category. So the reason why some people say, or a lot of people say, that he kind of got shafted when it comes to his link set is just because he has way too many key links, and it's just completely unnecessary because he has Over in the Flash, Shocking Speed, GT, Fuse Fighter. It's just like, it's so many. Over in the Flash already gives him the, what do you call it? Over in the Flash gives him 3 key, Shocking Speed 2, GT 2, Fuse Fighter 2. It's just like, he is easily going to be consistently super attacking. They could have given him, say, more or just another attack link to increase his power, but they just gave this man so many you know, key links, and it just comes down to his character. I mean, he needs to have Over in a Flash because of what happened in the show. GT's a must. Beast Fighter's a must. Shocking Speed is also a must. So he was kind of doomed from the start. And of course, because the limit on key links, or just links in general, is 7, they couldn't have given him any more, which I suppose is a bit of a shame because his damage output does get lowered slightly. But when it comes to damage, the Gogeta does win. He has the better debuffing mechanic. Granted, he does have to super attack first for it to be active, but at the very least, it works against super types as well as extreme types. He doesn't have a counter like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but again, it just comes down to what you personally prefer. Do you prefer the consistent debuffing with the Super Gogeta that can do it against all types, as well as the effectiveness against all types, or do you prefer Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's debuff against just extreme type enemies, the super attack counter, as well as being able to greatly raise his own attack and defense? It honestly is a bit of a strange one. I will say that for Super Battle Road, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is probably going to end up being the better unit. But when it comes to most modes in general, Super Gogeta's effectiveness against all types is just absolutely ridiculous. But if we were to take a look at this from a no-dupe standpoint, I think Gogeta may take it slightly. You can definitely argue that the category that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is the leader of is way more relevant. When it just comes to individual units, I will say that I prefer the Gogeta slightly. Again, this is just my opinion, so if you do disagree, let me know in the comment section now and be like, you guys may be seeing something that I'm not seeing, but personally, I think that they both have their strengths and weaknesses. The weakness for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is that he doesn't have that additional attack link, and the fact that he doesn't debuff all enemies. But then again, that's not that much of an issue, just because of how tanky these teams are in general. But honestly, I think the deciding factor when it comes to this battle in particular is Super Gogeta's effectiveness against all types. It's still, to this day, easily one of the most broken mechanics in the game. It has been proven that Gogeta can hit harder as well, so it's kind of hard to debate which one is better. If we're talking about leader skill relevance, then yeah, sure, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta easily takes it. But overall, I think that Gogeta is slightly the better unit. Again, you can debate it in the comment section down below. But to be real with you guys, there isn't that much between the two. It's just simply that I kind of had to make a decision here. And I personally think that the Super Gogeta is slightly superior. They're both absolutely incredible units. If I had it my way, I would have made sure that they were tied. But again, this is a top 5 list, so I kind of had to choose a particular order, kind of. But for the global players out there, I'm actually going to quickly go over a list. So if I was to give my top 5 for global, it would be Super Saiyan Gotenks, the physical one. In 4th, we would have Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, just simply because you don't have that Super Saiyan 3 adult Gotenks in there. In 3rd place, you would have the physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. And then I'm just going to say it, tied, number 1, we're going to have your boy Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Super Gogeta. But I'm just going to leave it there. Hope you guys did enjoy the video as always. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one.